It's my privilege at this point to introduce someone who actually got a shout out in that excellent and thought-provoking speech, Kaitlyn Jeong, who is a senior concentrating in social studies, secondary and government. Originally hails from Arcadia, California, which apparently has another nickname I was not aware of, but has been proud to call Quincy her home for the last 3 years. At Harvard here, Kaitlyn's been involved with organizations such as Harvard Model Congress and Quincy HOCO, and she's also a Pride and Prejudice reader, Hun lover, and general avid podcast listener, and all-around excellent person. So it's my distinct pleasure to introduce Kaitlyn.
An especially memorable scene from one of my favorite TV shows features the series protagonist wandering around a lonely bar on a rainy day, telling anyone who will listen about the day he lost his identity. Now, the first time I saw this scene, it sent my 9-year-old mind reeling. I was left with questions. What did it mean to lose your identity? Once lost, could your identity ever be found? And perhaps most importantly, how in the world could SpongeBob ever be that forgetful? As fellow fans of the show may or may not remember, this lost identity was actually just SpongeBob's Krusty Krab name tag. But for me, and for so many of you here in this room, identity is something far more complicated than that. If there is anything that my experiences here at Harvard have taught me, it is that the questions of who am I and where do I belong don't often lend themselves to easy answers. My perspective on this has changed often and greatly since coming to Harvard in the fall of 2012. Before reaching campus, I, like so many other 17-year-olds at the time, looking at you, Annie, was ready to figure out who I was and exactly who I was supposed to be. Moreover, I was confident about it, about that eureka moment that would surely happen as soon as I donned my free Harvard lanyard and rubbed John Harvard's left foot. Luckily, before too much damage was done, a kind soul informed me that doing either of those things would be like running around the yard with a big sign that said, "Hi, I'm a freshman, I live in Ackley, and also, do you know if Lowell Lecture Hall and Lowell House are the same thing? Because on my opening days map it says that they're not," and you get the idea. But the fact that discovering my identity didn't happen right away certainly didn't stop me from looking for clues. I stumbled across a particularly rich treasure trove of identity information while scrolling through Facebook one evening, one that I can guarantee with a high degree of statistical certainty that most of you are familiar with. "What does your favorite pizza topping say about you?" it asked in big, bold letters. I clicked and was sucked into the nebulous black hole that is BuzzFeed quizzes. And I was sucked in because I wanted to know, because I wanted to figure myself out. My dear roommates and pseudo-roommates, who are now smiling sheepishly at the thought of the hours that we've spent analyzing our Harry Potter Myers-Briggs results, probably know what I'm talking about. And maybe you do too. Why deal with the presence of binaries and labels that challenge everything we think we are when we can select the picture of the puppy that we'd most want to cuddle with and be told all about what our best personality traits are? Why grapple with feelings of not being smart enough or talented enough in a sea of brilliant future world leaders when a simple quiz will reveal what school we actually should attend? In retrospect, these quizzes were more than just another way to pass or waste time. In them, I sought affirmation. The affirmation that I was totally a SoCal girl, that I did indeed know the words to 98% of all Disney songs, and that maybe, just maybe, I wasn't as weird as I thought. After all, there were enough people like me to warrant an entire BuzzFeed category at the end of each quiz. Although the battle to free myself from BuzzFeed's clutches has continued, even to this day, the time that I've spent here at Harvard and as a member of the Quincy community has encouraged me to think outside of those checkboxes, to seek out what makes me, me, beyond a set of vague, yet strangely relatable adjectives. Through shared laughs over terrible puns, emoji-filled text exchanges in the cube, and late-night conversations about current events and family histories, I began to realize that perhaps there was a reason why that epiphany of self-discovery that I had expected at age 9 and then at 17 never came. I had been thinking about identity as an endpoint, as something that could be found as easily as it could be lost. But in doing so, I forgot about how, during those times, I felt completely comfortable with who I was in the moment. I forgot about how, despite the fact that each interaction changed my perspective about the world, I too was changing and growing, and so was my identity. With graduation just around the corner, I sometimes still find myself feeling like I'd be more prepared to tackle the real world if I had an elevator pitch that described exactly who I was. Silly as it may be, when these doubts do strike, I think back to that episode of SpongeBob that I mentioned earlier on. If you'll forgive the spoiler, in the very last scene of the episode, SpongeBob realizes that his pants have been on backwards. He flips them around and, lo and behold, finds his name tag pinned exactly where it was supposed to be. Although my 9-year-old self likely was too busy giggling to critically analyze that final scene, the person I am now does have a tentative hypothesis and broader takeaway to offer. Maybe these ever-elusive identities of ours can't be found after all. Maybe they are and always have been with us all along. Thank you.